Want to know what happens to your baby in the second month of life and more stimulation tips, development, and a special tip for you too? A mother? So stay with me and I'll tell you. Hello, I'm Monica Romero. I'm very happy to have you here with me. Congratulations to your little baby who has completed 1 month of life, is already entering the second month of life, and the baby's development is going as fast as time. And it's not funny. You don't feel like you always had your baby. It seems like we don't even remember what we were like before we were mothers. At the same time, it was yesterday. What a mess. This confusion happens is that our routine is so intense. We are experiencing so many new things that our brain begins to register all this, like many things, many new things, and that take up a lot of time. So we end up having this feeling that it is much more than 1 month that we have our baby. And for him also has a lot of news, a lot of gains. Although he is still in sterogestação, which would be a period in which he should be in the belly, but no longer fit to be born before, are the first 3 months of the baby's life, despite sterogestação. He is having so many new visual stimuli that he did not have in the belly. He is also having olfactory. By the way, how many smells is he smelling that he didn't even know existed? He may be going through colic. What a judgment, right? Calm down, you'll have a tip too. But all this is also accompanying what? In one weight gain, he lost 10% of his weight. After he was born, he started breastfeeding. His stomach started to grow, and now he gains 150-200 gras per week. But of course, it's not just the weight gain that indicates good baby development, okay? That's why you have to, in all consultations with the pediatrician, and he will also measure the measurement of the head from the chest to the gain in height. All these are indicators of the proper development of your baby. If by chance it is a baby who is already successfully breastfeeding, he has already learned how to breastfeed. For you to be more comfortable, you should not be having too much pain to breastfeed. However, if this little baby hasn't adjusted the handle, or if you also haven't properly learned how to adjust this handle, I'll leave this video for you. But I will also leave this image here on my side that will help you. Because how do we handle the catch? The first part is that we will stimulate with the peak of the breast at the top of the baby's mouth so that he makes a mouthful. As soon as he makes his hand, he will be holding the breast in a C. He will flatten the breast and we will put it there. Behind the sky from the baby's mouth, and we will push the chest deep, reaching the base of our finger. When we do this to push up there, he will have his chin in his mouth facing backwards, and you can even open that mouth, okay? You can then pull the handle and he will be able to have an even larger mouth to make the stimulation for the proper output of milk. Your nose should be free to breathe and you should not be feeling pain. If you are still feeling pain, ask the pediatrician to observe you breastfeeding or return to the place where you had your child, i.e. maternity ward or hospital. They can also help you. I'm going to talk to a breastfeeding consultant. But there's also a playlist here in the Almanac just with breastfeeding tips, both for those who have nipples, right? The nipple is larger, smaller, inverted, or even flat. Do you have a tip for all this for you? My favorite part of this month is that from now on, your child already knows what a social smile is in the first month. That little smile he gave while sleeping was a feeling of well-being. He can smile because he wants to. He starts to smile at you, that toothless smile that makes any mother melt and is very sure to melt, even because the most delicious smile in this world makes our heart melt, and all our effort, right? All our dedication to our son is worth even more. Another really cool thing is that now your little baby's retinas have fused together. It'll make him start to see a little better. This image you're passing to you shows that it's still a little blurry, doesn't it? It's more or less in this blur that he's seeing, but he doesn't need that much contrast anymore to be able to see. And he is seeing his face better, and that of all the people he lives with. But it is still important for us to take advantage of that 20 to 30 cm approach so that he can observe you more and more, which is the distance from breastfeeding, care, and play. So always play close, quiet, so he can see you better and better. and he will soon try to imitate his features, the air. When we open the mouth, when it decreases and finds fun in everything we do, we will feel like this, superstar, super fun. Because in a little while, it's not now, okay? But soon even laughter will be around. Your intellectual capacity is also developing super fast. He is learning too much and his neurons keep multiplying, that is, preparing his brain for more knowledge to come. He also knows how to fetch his mother's breast. When he's sucking and letting go, he already knows how to look back. And if he has already become an expert in breastfeeding, catching it is already a super easy thing for him, including breastfeeding, which previously could take 40-50 minutes. It often starts to decrease. Decrease why? Because he is more efficient at breastfeeding. And his body is also more efficient at releasing milk. Our body is not a stock. It does not store milk. It produces it while the baby breastfeeds. This is very important. We emphasize later that there is pojadura, which is the drop in milk that happens more or less 3 days after delivery. Our chest gets all out of whack. We get huge breasts and leak a lot. The good news that I have to practice is that soon your body will stop, right? It will reduce these leaks because he will already know how much he needs to produce. And the time to produce, baby cried, it'll leak. But you won't have that breast as swollen as before because your body is already getting used to it as your baby's demand. Mobile remains one of the favorite toys for us to use with our children because they help the baby focus a lot. And that high contrast, right? I know we think pastel bodies are beautiful, but high contrast is still important for the baby. It will help you to try to focus, fix the look, and further develop the muscles and the ear of our children. Another thing is that he still keeps his hands closed, especially when he's hungry, right? The baby, after he is fed, that is, he has fed a lot, then he relaxes. The little hand can open, but the little hand is still tightly closed. And here comes a hint. As the baby spends a long time with his hand closed, he keeps those hands closed in the bath, but he already puts his hand to his mouth. He sweats, so it can smell bad. If you can open your baby's hand, you will see that it may be full of little scratches. It's black on his hand. Don't be scared, okay? This is normal. So at bath time, give a bigger care to the little hand empty fingers because they tend to stay with the hand closed. It becomes more difficult for us to wash, but we continue to accumulate mainly these body fluids such as sweat, right? And even skin, right? That the skin peels off will also accumulate there. And speaking of bathing, when the newborn, he still doesn't like it very much, only when he is on his tummy down. Now he will start to like the bath a little more, but we need to help, like transforming the bath into a moment of learning, of connection, right? A special moment of your day. I know that sometimes we are super tired to take a bath, or we can pass this bath on to someone else, such as dad or grandma or grandpa. And at this moment of the bath, we can sing, we can play, we can slowly tap in the water and present this moment to him as a moment of play, making it more enjoyable. After the bath, the baby becomes more relaxed. So if you put this bath in the late afternoon, which is when the sleep hormone begins to act at sunset, put this bath hour. Take a bath. Give a very quiet, very calm massage to your child. Dim the lights and sounds in your house. You are already starting to teach your baby a sleep routine, and he tends to sleep more during this period. So we're going to give this baby a little Amazon to put to sleep. Let's start with the sleep routine. There is a more complete video about it that I will leave linked here for you, but you can already apply this routine from the first days of your child. But calm down. Let's lower our expectations. Sleeping all night for the baby is sleeping 5 to 6 hours. So don't think he will already sleep 12 hours. This will take a long time to happen and may only happen in adolescence. But now we can teach and take advantage of this longer period of rest for your child to take a bath to relax, watch that program you like, and sleep together whenever possible. Okay? Which is really quite tiring. The baby still continues to sleep many hours a day, almost like a newborn. Only he starts to get a little smarter when he's awake. He begins to follow you more with his eyes, pay more attention to what is happening, and become more curious. Another important thing is that your neck is still not very firm, so it's not time to pick up the baby without supporting your back, okay? This support will continue to be important for a longer time, But who will explain it best to you is my baby development guest, Aunt Anna, who is a physiotherapist specializing in newborns, who will arrive shortly.
I'm here.
Hi, Aunt Anna. Aunt Anna from Helper Kids is helping here the Almanac dos Faz in the content of baby development, bringing us information about stimuli and games. And Aunt Anna, let's start just talking about who has premature babies. Who has premature babies? We need to correct this age. That is, what would be the correct date that he was going to be born? The probable date of the pair, we will take that date, and from there, we will start to contain it. The first month of life, second, third, for you to follow this content, isn't that it?
It is very important that you correct the age so that we do not generate frustration in mothers in relation to motor development. So your little baby corrected. Today is 1 month. This is where we will start looking at the baby's development. If he wasn't born yet, right? But he's already born because he's premature. Wait a little while so you can continue to watch and observe your baby's development.
What if you showed up here? What about your baby? Newborn. Calm down. There's a video. I will leave a link here for you about the first month of the baby's life, which is also worth correcting the date. What are the main stimuli that we have to present to this baby in his second month of life?
We have already talked about some in the first month, and it is very important that we continue to do many things that we have already started, because now the baby is more alert, has already learned some things, starts to follow the parents more, starts to observe better this contour around the toys, the contour of the parent's face. So he starts to follow a lot of what the parents are doing, the caregivers are doing. Look at the contrast books, it's still going on, but we're already starting to present more colors for this baby. He also starts to play more, as Monica already said, at bath time. Tummy time, you know that more and more this baby will be able to stay in the tummy down position and will like it more and more. And then if he doesn't like it, it's important to find a professional. And you can sing to your baby, dance with him, and he's going to interact better and better with the stimulus you're doing to him because you're playing.
Is there any difference now in the behavior or position of the baby regarding the first month of life? Has he already had any gains that we can observe?
You see that today his neck control is much better than it was in the first month of life. So he can raise that head more or less 45 degrees. When he's on his tummy down, his elbow is still behind his shoulder, and he gets to stay longer with that little head up when he's on his tummy down and when he's on his tummy up. You watch this head coming from side to side a lot. He starts bringing this head from side to side more.
When we have the baby on our lap, we still need to support our little head in the back. It's not firm enough for him to have autonomy, is it?
When mothers carry a baby in a kangaroo, for example, we always have to be careful that the baby has to be fully supported. And he's facing his parents, right? He's not facing the street, he's facing his parents. This is very important. That's why we always say to read the manufacturer's recommendation.
In fact, when we are going to use strollers, the baby should still stay, okay? Either he totally lying down or in the position of still baby comfort, always facing you, the parents. How are you the ones who bring him security? Yeah.
Important because we're looking at this baby, right? If he regurgitates or anything else, we are watching and we are there to help if necessary.
The baby still needs to sleep on his tummy whenever he is unsupervised, but with supervision, he can sleep in different ways, right? Including on his side, on his stomach, to avoid the Quetiana to stop.
Avoid crumpled heads. Pay attention to postural preference. The baby needs to look at both the right and the left side. If we start to observe that this baby is only on one side, don't wait to seek help. We need to go as soon as possible so we can help this baby, because we may be faced with several postural changes, especially a torticollis that has not been diagnosed after birth but in time.
That the little baby is sleeping on its tummy is up, unsupervised? Or are we going to let him sleep to take a shower, do something, stomach up always? We can also fix his little head. You don't have to stay straight all the time, do you?
This is another important tip. Monica, the little baby who always has his head looking straight, he can't tilt his head sideways. This is very important for you to observe because the baby at this age, he can go with his little head to one side and go with his little head to the other side. Very difficult. Difficult at this age for the baby to just stand with his head straight looking at the ceiling. When you observe this, pay attention, don't wait. And if someone tells you that it gets better, it passes. Isn't that also true? And it is a time that also began last month to put this baby to play on his side and to sleep on his side supervised.
Play with the baby in the second month.
Just kidding. He played there in the first one, didn't he? Now he plays even more because he's more on alert. And then he starts with this social smile that you mentioned, and he starts having fun and starts playing with his own body a lot. And then there will be other things he's going to do when he starts to find those little hands.
But he still doesn't pick up toys.
Not yet at that age, no. But he is able to put your little finger on your little hand. He can close and hold your little hand, and we melt, right?
Yeah, and he does it with his feet, but he won't turn the whole foot. He'll turn the little fingers. So if you squeeze his little foot when you're getting a massage, for example, which is delicious, they twist their little feet inward. And when we do it with our little hand, he holds it. This, by the way, brings a lot of discomfort to some mothers because there are people. Sometimes we are on the street as it is. Baby walking because he passed the EPR. Mom, let's walk this baby, put it in the stroller. Airy place. Shopping is not good. It's a very closed place with a lot of viruses, open, airy places, squares, parks. We can do all this. And then an unknown person arrives and goes straight into this baby's hand. I recommend that we don't let it. Why? Because the baby, despite not being picking things up, he takes his little hand to his mouth. Even this is calming for him and already doing it in the womb. So from the outside, it's natural that he wants to repeat this behavior. So if someone is going to take the hand, you ask out of kindness not to do that because your little baby is taking the hand to his mouth.
Actually, that should be a rule of etiquette, right? People should know that we don't put our hand on a baby's hand, right? So you should be a rule, right? We teach all people and children. Look, when you find a baby, please put your hand on the little foot because the 2-month-old baby, he won't put that foot in the mouth, but he doesn't put his hand on the baby's hand, which is where he takes it to the mouth. And he hasn't completed his vaccination schedule yet.
It's not. And in fact, I don't think we could put our hands on the baby under any circumstances unless with the mother's authorization. But as we are in a country that is very hot, people are. Are they too close to each other? As people have this habit, and it's not out of malice, but we need to warn you right away that you can't do this. How you can't kiss on the mouth while drinking. How you can't visit the baby when you're sick. There are a series of rules, but the baby still in the second month of life can't turn, right, Aunt Anna?
It doesn't roll yet, but it may happen to do it in a not so intentional way, so be very careful. When leaving these babies in changing rooms, people, we don't leave the baby in the changing room and turn around to look for something, because at that moment the baby can move and end up spinning in a non-voluntary way, right? Because he's still going to learn to do that because he's having this brain maturation. So it's very important. Guys, we hear a lot of families telling us, oh, but there's no problem because it doesn't rotate. And then accidents happen.
So do not leave your baby, not change her alone, not even for 1 minute. The same goes for bathtubs, and this will last for many, many years. Unfortunately, most accidents that happen to our children are domestic, so extra care is very important. Tiana, thank you so much. Come back next month.
Come on, I'm here with you.
Ready for our mom talk? It doesn't matter if it's your first, second, third, fourth child. Congratulations, Mom, on this 1 month you spent with your newborn. Even though we have more children, we know that they are different challenges, they are different needs. Sometimes we have a baby who cries too much and we don't even know why. And when we don't know why, we start eliminating the baby's clothes that sometimes a label, a seam can be bothering. We can see the baby's diaper, we can feed this baby, we can walk this baby, we can do a series of things to try to calm down. And sometimes he doesn't calm down. But the immaturity of the baby's central nervous system can cause him to simply cry unnecessarily and often not stay out of the lap, which is extremely exhausting for the whole family, for mother, for father, for support network, for those who are close. This maturity has to end in the 3rd, 4th month of life. We know how exhausting it is, right? Especially those who have been through this before. I know it's very difficult, but calm down. As the maternity den says, this will pass. And if you have a calmer baby, right too, who isn't demanding as much. Even so, it is a very great energy of dedication, only now that the social smile has arrived. It starts to come that feeling of reward, that feeling that he knows who I am. He knows that I'm looking out for him. He is grateful for the care I have. But this social smile is still shy. There are children who take a little longer. Don't worry, you remain your child's world. Your role as a mother is extremely important in the formation of that baby, in the safety of that baby. And we talk, right? We don't let the baby cry. We hug us. Welcome. But I also understand when sometimes we need to let this baby cry a little, so we have to do something. For example, we need to make food for us to eat, or we need to take a shower, we need to go to the bathroom, do number 2. Sometimes you have to let that baby cry. And I don't want you to feel guilty about it. Because for him, all he needs is you. But for you, there are other things as well. But nothing is more important than our son, okay? So if you fail to take care of the house, if you wait, if you have a lot of dirty dishes, you want to complain, what slab? If you need to eat, right? If you eat, do some other task. If you have a support network, count on it. Ask for help. We have a phrase that says that it takes an entire tribe to be able to raise a baby, a son, because it really requires a lot of effort. It's a class action. But in this modern world that we live in, where our mothers work, where everyone is working, we often don't have family support. And sometimes because we don't have it, or because we live far away, we live in another country, and we don't have that support. But if you have someone you can count on that person. It's not about you being jealous of your child. We say, oh no, I'm jealous, it has to be my way. Relax. There are people you trust here who will also be able to take care of your baby. Just make your rules for it, okay? You don't have to worry about talking. Look, I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to wish. On the cheek you can talk, no problem, but ask for help. This is very important, so that you have even 30 minutes to take a shower. It makes all the difference, no matter what kind of birth you had. This is now the end of the puerperium, that most intense period of hormonal drops, of rest. So take this time to talk to your doctor and see if he clears you to go for walks with your child, or some other type of physical activity that you like to do. Physical activity also helps, right? We already have more energy. We feel better releasing that endorphin. It will also help not only in the recovery of the body, but of our mind. Leaving home, going for a walk, meeting other people, even if we don't talk, even if we just see the world happening, it's rewarding, because this first period, right, from the birth of the baby, we were very cloistered, but it's not yet time for us to go out with our baby, because for now, with our baby, it's just going to the pediatrician or some outdoor walks. And when you have an older child, it gets even harder, right? They also demand to have a park. A place that you can go with your children can be very good. Everybody's going to win. And we know that children who have contact with nature, they usually develop fine motor coordination. Better why? Because he's there messing with things. He's working with his hand, working with his feet. So all these stimuli will make a long-term difference for our children. And don't forget the sun protection, okay? The baby can't put on sunscreen yet, so we will have to run away from that strong sun and just let him take in that little sun that is from the beginning of the morning or late afternoon. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, that you tell me here in the comments how you are feeling, what are your biggest challenges or your biggest accomplishments, and I'll see you in the next video.